Hiya, hiya. It's a Joeyreynoldsrap. It's not a rap yet. That's the word they use when they want to end something. Or when you want to preserve it, put some foil on it. Well, you know what happened here is we have the iHeart radio network, which is about 850 stations of iHeart. I want to start one called the iFart, the old fart radio station. I mean, this is for people who have a traditional yearning for comedy and for conscience. This is the old fart network. And I think we'll make a lot of money because we have the disposable income. You know, we're the guys who have the most money, but we're not letting it go. We're not giving you any of it. See, what's happened is we have gotten into podcasts, and unfortunately, the young people don't treat it the same. We call it media. Now, you know, a long time ago there was a company called Metro Media Radio, Metro Media Television. Nobody knew what the word was because it was an industry word until it got the word social in front of it. Now it's social media, so now everybody uses the word media like they're in the biz. It's a disease we have in America. We want to belong. We want to belong so badly. We want to be so informed so that we can sound like we really know what we're talking about. And most of us don't. And including me, I mean, we're all the same. I'll tell you, the latest thing with pods is not the podcast, but rather these detergents. What do they call it? Vinyl acronym alcohol or something. You know, it's a way of getting high. Kids are using this stuff. They're eating pods. They're if you could wash your mouth out because of your dirty words and not F everybody, then it would be a gain. But there's no gain. This should be a loss, not a gain when you're eating flings, gain flings. My idea of a fling is a lot different than eating a pod. And pods used to be in that movie where people were stored in this little thing. What was that film called? About the living dead. Remember, there were pods. There were, there was one where they had Denny was in the movie. Remember him? They had floated pods in a pool, and people would get younger as a result of it because they were from another planet that gave them youth. People want to have youth. I just want to get this over with. That's all I want to get. And so do most people watching this. You see, what the problem is that we have a woman on television this morning who is complaining that she's a black woman who says that this whole thing with the shootings down in Florida focuses on white people. I mean, why would you make a color issue out of that? But you know what? She has a good point, is that the media does favor the sensationalism because they want to get ratings. You know, we're always big on numbers. We're big on the Olympic amount of medals we won. We're big on how successful we are in business. You know, the Dow Jones. We have ratings in radio and television. Of course, there's always a number. We love this thing. I don't know where it started from, but I think it's the competition that we have in us. We want to compete, and everybody wants to win, of course. But this idea of having this great number of people. Now, if you had everybody watching this right now, which is highly unlikely in all what they call demographics in all age groups, highly unlikely. If you had everybody watching it and I had a sponsor, that doesn't mean you're going to buy the product. Not at all. I mean, how many things did you buy from the Super Bowl halftime game or from the commercials they ran? Do you know who sponsored the halftime? Do you have any idea? Did you buy anything as a result of watching television last night? Did you go out and buy, well, there's 12 or 13 car commercials. I don't know how many cars you have in your garage. It's just stupid. You know, I mean, we're strength in numbers, but we're not really strong in numbers. You're strong in individuality. And the first thing that people do, like this woman on television this morning, like the sheriff, you know, the guy that didn't go into the building with the school kids last week. These are blames. A lawyer comes up and finds an angle. And we have graduated too many lawyers. They have nothing to do but roam around heaven all day. That's what they do. They find something to defend. Now, sometimes it's a moral issue, and therefore I'll go along with it. But for the most part, it's lobbying, the money that you put into your government so that you have your own way if you are a political leader, and the way that you run your campaign so that you get reelected, and how you favor something in your own area. Iowa's been declared the #1 state in the country right now as far as U.S. News and World Magazine. It's the #1 state to live in. The governor was a woman, and she says because they graduated 97% students, there's a number again, 97% of the kids graduate and go on to college. Well, we had that thing in Mount Vernon with a friend of mine, George Albano, who's the famous brother of Captain Lou Albano, the wrestler, and he had a black community essentially and a poverty community, and he also got people like Apple to donate and give computers and to make the school really hip. And he put a lot of entertainment in there too, with people who donated their times, famous people, and they came in and they sang and they performed, and they got the kids involved so that the graduation rate is like even higher than Iowa in Mount Vernon, New York. So there are moments, there are bubbles, and we have them in this country. We got to celebrate the things that work. You don't have to be Joel Osteen to know that it began with Adam and Eve. When Adam was accused of eating the apple and he was blamed by God, he says to Adam, "All right, Adam, why did you eat the apple?" And Adam said, "It was her." It began there in Genesis. That's the genesis of it. Just don't eat podcasts, all right, or pods. There's something else to get off on, and that would be the Reynolds rap. I'm going to get off.